see the uneven surface that doesn't have any. And they keep, and they stomp on that upper surface there, because there is a, again, it is going up, right, down to up.
Fraction.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you see any hazards, anyone complaining in the past? No, sorry.
The question I have most about this is it slippery after we've cut it? And it still means it's in the ADA, it's the friction coefficient, that surface is still ADA compliant afterwards.
Yeah, and I know
We
that a
work
lot
with
of this is from trees maturing and roots lifting up
Yep.
parts of sidewalks
You're
and
over.
stuff, and, you know, as long as we're gonna work on, you know, creating a nice canopy with those trees, we're probably gonna see, you know, more of that over time, but no, this is fantastic, because I like had two like bad wipeouts on sidewalks, like people were driving down the street, stopping their cars, because they thought I was needing an ambulance in a lot.
It can be nasty.
Yeah.
I ran into it myself too. I've been out doing estimates next time.
No, I had a dog and, you know, he was pulling me along and I wiped out and then he was spooked and he pulled me more and I was like for dead on the sidewalk.
We'll also document every single repair that we make, its measurements at the time and its address. We'll provide that to you in after action report, which on the whole legal side of trip and fall is very valuable information to have.
And I don't really want to talk about that on the record, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. No, this is great. I mean, I'll make a motion to approve proposal FLPA F312
I'll take that motion from
for
Deb.
a range of not to exceed $39,689. That's the right language.
And then question from Bobby.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sue.
What's the food to the structural integrity of what you guys thought? We have some more on the kind of sidewalk. So if it's got so often, if you guys cut, 2 inches out of a premium slab, is that gonna bring it to the point where you're.
So we have that hard stop at 2 inches as far as our grades go. They're 4-inch pours, so if we're cutting off more than half of the depth of the concrete, that's when the structural stability of the slab comes into question. If there's anything out there that's over 2 inches, which we didn't see, we would recommend that to be replaced. Okay. But as long as you're leaving half, it's still just.
Real quick too, you and I talked about timeframe,
Mhm.
in terms of how long this actually takes, because we don't want there to be obviously people around working, what's the ETA on this?
Yeah, if you scroll down, it's listed, as far as right here. So we can knock out this project 3 to 4
Oh, no,
days.
that's not right. Based on various panel sizes totaling 6,284 square feet, the community's estimated replacement cost is, oh, no, that's replacement. No, that's.
Yeah.
He's giving you a comparison if you need to replace.
Yeah.
But the timeline of completion in here, we don't close down any sidewalks. So it's still, free for pedestrians. We'll put a cone out in front, run out behind us, make the repair, move on to the next one. 3 to 4 business days, for us to complete this project. If it's approved here, we're about 6 to 8 weeks out currently.
I'll second.
All right, second from Supervisor Boissard. All in favor?
Yes.
Brian Merrick, possibly? All right, opposed, motion
I know
carries.
we passed just one quick question, technical question. See, on the figure 8, I'll show you.
Oh, go down.
Is this,
Oh, yes. So this is what we typically receive from a result of a grinder. I'll make this very clear. This is what we do not do. You can see with this grinder, there's still a change in level afterwards, and that slope is very sharp and abrupt.
right,
It's also dinged up the adjacent panel here, which is typical when you're trying to use this big grinding machine to be precise. With our method, there's no issue with that. Everybody's,
how are you guys, any picture is there?
what's that?
Any picture to show that?
Yeah, figure 7 up there, right there.
Oh, that's kind of.
Yeah, so this is an example of one of the powers. You can see it's properly sloped, no damage on your adjacent panel. This back line is what I call it, is nice and sharp across the width of the.
Because it is not much gap. If you go down the picture, the next picture, you have this, huge gaps.
Yeah,
So
so
how do you cover this in that? When you're grinding, how are you going to cover that kind of a gap?
so this is a picture of a line. This is what we don't do.
That's why I know.
Yes, so we would just re-repair it by starting our cut back here and just making sure everything was eliminated. to begin with, yeah. That's something we are we run into frequently is repairs of previous drawings.
Okay.
We just need to start or cut a little backwards and just slice through again. Make sure it's.
And Lord, for your updates, we worked with Precision over the last 3 years in Viera. Viera is a major community, 8 phases. They've done the same thing where they've come out, notated the areas. You know, that board specifically did a 3-year plan in order to limit the cost. And then they give us an updated report at the end of all of the areas that have been satisfactory. That way, if we ever, receive any kind of, litigation, you have some proof.
Okay.
So, all right, anything else for Trent? Trent, we got the approval. Legal will start on the agreement. Legal's gonna start on the agreement and then we'll send it over to you for your review and
Sounds good.
get it executed. And planned out.
All right, thanks, man.
Trent, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Beautiful, Joe, back to you.
So these, again, what do I have here? The orchard and this.
No, I could take that one.
What
Is
tab
that,
are we
is that
on?
what we're on? So we're on tab, 10 and 11. So to reference this board,
Thank you.
Thank you.
I spoke to your chairman and Trent, good to see you. I spoke to your chairman and the idea is that we would like to come up with a master plan for Solterra that the board is in full agreement with. And once the, agreed upon master plan is approved by the board in your town halls, the idea is that you're gonna have, in your town halls kind of a.
Can't be approved in the townhouse.
Correct, not approved, in the sense of like have the direction that you wanna go in, right? Because I know some people might gravitate towards this, some people might gravitate towards that. So these are some of, on tab 11 or 10 and 11, these are some of the concepts that are currently being, tossed out there for enhancements in the community. And in your town halls now, you as a group will review, hey, what do we want here? What do we want there? And once the board feels confident in the direction to move forward, you will then give staff that new plan. We could also hire somebody to do like an area, by the way. You will give staff direction and staff will then start to execute on the agreed upon master plan. Any questions? I'll turn it over to the board to have any comments on the orchard or the splash.
Just real quick, because we're not voting on this today, and
Correct.
I want to keep everything moving along, and then we have 1 hour. So, but just real quick, I know that there's been a lot of community input about things that we want to add. We're trying to keep costs down. We're trying to expand our amenities while not swelling our budget. And I think all of those are important considerations. We have a lot more research to do, but I think from everything that I've seen that people have been talking about, there's no reason why we can't do all of this. Of course, over time, but we've got a lot more research to do. I think the whole idea of Splash at Solterra Splash is wonderful. I think it's a great idea to keep all of these things that would probably be best to have with staff supervision, things like basketball courts and splash pads and things that require infrastructure and supervision to be done here at the amenity center. And I think it's a really cool idea to have a place where everybody knows this is where the fun stuff happens for the younger set. Not to be an ageist or something like that, but for the kids and that kind of thing. And then on the other hand, I think we also need to address, we've got vast land assets that are currently underused where we could add parking. We could add things that are a little bit more upscale and address a different demographic who tends to spend a lot more money when they come to stay at these kinds of resorts, by the way. And they're a lot less hard on our assets physically than some of the other groups. And I want to be very sensitive to the people who live the land that we're talking about, that I'm talking about, it's currently in use. is between Solterra Boulevard and the townhouses on Paris Sinesta. There's a big swath of land there. And the homeowners who back up to that area, the townhomes, they purchased there because, just specifically because there was an infrastructure behind them. And so, and then now they find themselves with people playing soccer back there, chewing up the yards, screaming, football practice, cheerleading practice, none of these things that they wanted. So, so what we're looking at doing is creating more bucolic, more kind of wellness and restorative sort of thing. I've been talking to some tour operators who bring in health and wellness tours. They actually have these big C-suite level executive wellness retreats that they host, and talking to them about what some of their needs are. And I incorporated that along with research in upcoming, not just upcoming, but resorts that are extremely successful right now, like Evermore Resort, which yes, does all of this stuff and a lot more than we can do. But they also are really big into the health and wellness sort of aspect, because that's where a lot of their money, where their revenue is driving right now. These are people who are renting houses like we have, but from Evermore Resort, and paying upwards of $1,000, $2,000 a night. We're not going to compete with Reunion. We're not going to compete with Champions Gate on their level with the things that they're doing. We don't have the space and infrastructure and budget to do it. So we have to find a unique selling proposition. And none of these resorts have this. So this is something that we can do to drive yet more revenue. And yet with landscaping, it's the cheapest way to do it. We don't have to add, big sources of drainage and irrigation and all of that stuff. All of that lives here at the amenity center, at the clubhouse. So let's keep all of that here, and let's use this space on the outside. Let's enhance I talked to Greg about actually growing organics that would be managed by the CDD. So we don't have rotting fruit bringing in vermin, but we can use those organics here at the cafe to create, and he's already created a health and wellness sort of menu where we can, and this is, it's going to take time, right, folks? But it's on the lines of the macro. Anyway, I'll shut up.
No, great point. So in your town halls, please participate. If any of the board members have any of their, future master plan and visions, please bring it to the town hall. And then again, once the board members are in an agreement with the direction that we're going to head in, staff will then receive that notice and start executing appropriately.
And board, I did notice under the splash at Solterra, there is an area that you have pegged as potentially being adult only. We recently had a CDD up in North Florida. They built an adult only pool. They're running into issues with insurance and bond counsel. So if you want me to go ahead and look into it, we can even have age restricted areas, I can.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Okay.
Carry me up.
Okay, well,
And also, do we have any estimates for any of these? No, right?
For this, no, because we have to come to an agreement on what it is that we want. And then once the board says, hey, this is the master plan that we approve, then we know what bids to go out and get.
Because, no, the thing is that at some point of time, we have to get rid of the CDD less payment. We should fully give it to the HOA. Because CDD is supposedly temporary, like 1 year, something like that. So we got to be mindful of that, because eventually the community who's living here, we don't need to pay to CDD and HOA. So we got to transition to fully HOA managed community from the CDD. So that, with respect to that, my question, I mean, like, whatever we spend, we're not really adding any additional
Well,
bond taking or anything like
in
that.
order to do that.
Nothing additional for the bond unless you need to take out a bond for this master plan, but that will be at your discretion.
And we wouldn't be, the CDD exists into perpetuity until it's filed to be dissolved with the county. And that has to be at the time in which you can't have any bonds outstanding. And so it would be your private placement that was in 2023. I have to look at the term. But you do have 2018 and 2024 bonds. So it looks like their maturity dates right now, and they could be refinanced at a point in the future, are 2044 and 2049.
So question, for all of our different bonds, can you find out what the balances on each of them are before we sit down and approve the budget?
Before the budget today?
Now, we're approving the budget today?
Your bonds aren't gonna be associated with the, O&M assessments.
Oh, yeah, I know, but I still want to know,
Sure.
well, when are we gonna do the final budget approval today?
No, that'd be in August.
And all.
Yeah, it's proposed.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're just two separate questions.
Yeah, I
It's
know.
like saying, oh, well, it's not, well, look, I don't wanna talk about, the pool enhancements until we know what, our CDD bonds are. They're not, they're all independently important questions to answer, but one shouldn't be predicated on the other, right? So, in my opinion, so let's just get the question.
No, that's an easy question.
Ones are with balance.
Yeah,
We can get the, and I can refinancing opportunity, give you a refinancing timeline and any type
Okay,
of
yeah,
prepayment.
if you just want to email that to me?
Yeah.
Thank you.
yeah. Anything
And
else
is that
on the
something that you
master?
can post on the CDD website so that
Mail it to
I would make it start, we'll put it in the next packet.
like that way it's just there for everybody to see and everybody can, and if we have, I don't know how much trouble it is to update that on a
I have to
basis.
refinancing and the repayment stuff I get with bond council, but quarterly would it be difficult?
Okay, great.
Annually?
Yeah, quarterly or semi-annually, it would be nice just so people have a place to go, because it's a question that does come up every year.
Oh, that's good.
All right. Master plan town halls, yeah? Remember that, okay. Gonna move on to council for staff reports.
I don't have a ton today, so as you have noticed, Meredith is gone for the next couple months.
Has she had a baby?
Yes.
Yay!
So, she did have the baby last Saturday, so she will be out till the late June. So if you need anything, please email or text me. And I can take care of it, and she should be back for the July meeting if all goes well. But yes, she had the baby last Saturday. Her name is Honor Dean. So moving on, I do have in here, we've gone ahead and Karen got the license agreement dates for next year's Passover events. There are a couple things that I wanted some direction on for the board. When we did this agreement this past year, the board requested that we include the deposit for the trash services. The HOA ended up covering that cost. Abraham, his group did not. So I just didn't know if you wanted me to take that out because the HOA did it, if the HOA was gonna do it again.
So from my perspective, for Passover, knowing that it was Easter week at the same time, and I don't know how many homes we had, do you have any idea how many Passover houses we had rented this year from
I
Abraham?
think it was 250 or more than that at least. I think it was at least that many.
Yeah, 250 to 300. This Passover was the calmest, quietest, most orderly, least amount of disruption and garbage that I have seen in 5
Do you know
years.
if the HOA would be willing to cover that cost again for the trash, or should we leave it in this agreement to require it of Abraham? Do you remember when this?
No, I mean, we already built it. I mean, we already.
Oh, so you've already built it in, so we can take it out of it.
We were already ready to.
So
Okay.
I think it went really well.
Okay.
That overflow dumpster ends up being on the end of my street. And it got picked up daily and it did not get filled, like I think last year it got picked up more than once in a day. So if we can keep on the trajectory that we're on in terms of our guests and.
So I'll pick out the,
Passover is,
I'll take out then the trash component with the deposit because the HOA handled that, so that's good. The other question that I have is, Karen, in one of your emails, you mentioned the second location they were using. What is that second location?
Back behind the lazy river.
Okay, so we'll just need to include that in the license agreement, because right now it just includes the one area.
And we have an entire year between now and then, so if we need to make some
Yeah.
updates or some changes.
But otherwise, we would just be, out at that second location. It's then from mid-April to early May next year. Happy to take any other feedback. Otherwise, we'll go ahead and get this approved in substantial form. We'll add the second location in, take the trash deposit out, go ahead and get it executed, and then we're all good to go for next year.
Yeah, I think ideally they would have liked to have used one of the bigger homes for that, but in light of the problems with the reservation and needing to erect the second tent, it was great, because I walked by there multiple times a day, and it was clean, and it was quiet, and it was peaceful. And even in midday, with the music playing at the pool, I don't think that that was deterrent at all. So, yeah, that did work out really well.
Great.
And the size of the tent, if it was a foot or two bigger, it would not have fit.
Then otherwise, we would just look for a motion to approve in substantial form.
Okay, I'll make a motion. to-
Supervisor Hines?
Substantial form, the twenty
Supervisor
twenty-seven sober agreement.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Any other questions on that topic before I move on, Supervisor Hill?
Last time Bobby mentioned something, previous trash issue.
Yeah, but it sounds like the HOA wants to pay for their trash to be removed, so that's up to the HOA, I think that's good.
That's what happened this year, is after the HOA ended up covering the cost for Abraham, so he didn't have to, so I'll just take the.
Yeah, it wasn't excessive this year, I don't feel like.
No, but I've been to two other communities and they actually banned them from. Try to look out for the homeowners and our HOA fee money and.
We'll make sure that that's all coordinated, and
Sure.
if something happens and the HOA doesn't want to provide for it, we'll go back to Abraham and say, listen, right now, this is contingent on the HOA providing this trash service. If the HOA decides not to, then you'll need to be able to cover this additional cost. So I can add that. Otherwise, other updates at the last meeting. Yes, sir. Did you have another question? Okay. At the last meeting, there was a question about dirt bikes usage on amenity property. So our amenity rules and policies state that no motorized vehicles are supposed to be used on district property. So open space, you shouldn't be driving four-wheelers on any of our common spaces, no dirt bikes, no motor scooters, no electric bikes, etc. If you see that happening, if you take a picture or send a video and you know who it is,
We
send
send
it
it where they live.
right, and so that's the difficulty. We can also, call the sheriff's office to come out to try and do something, but our amenity policies do build in no motorized vehicles. So if we do figure out who it is, let us know and we can go through the suspension proceedings.
Okay.
I know it is very difficult to catch people with dirt bikes right now in Polk County or at all my districts. They're like, how do we get the kids off the dirt bikes in the common areas? My answer is call the sheriff's office. Good luck, because they go very fast.
Yeah.
Do we, are we allowed to keep any signs?
We can put up signs. Do we have any no trespassing signs up?
On property? I don't know about this property. Probably.
But it's gonna be nothing around the pond, but you would have to, you say.
We can look at adding signs that say no motorized
Yeah,
vehicles.
Otherwise, like, there is.
Yeah, that's
Someone's in the act, this is the public place, I didn't really see any sign.
In the next monthly thing,
Yep.
as
you
a
want some-
reminder that there's no motorized vehicles, and then maybe we can put a sign up near the
Yeah,
front.
that works great.
And then at least it's posted, so that when we do find out where the little renegades live, we can
We can then.
present it appropriately.
Usually, you know it very well, you can't really complain that it was fine.
Right, right. So we'll get some signs up, or we'll get proposals
Yep.
to add some signs. Otherwise, I don't have any updates unless you all have any questions for me. If you don't have, I know everyone has my email address. If you need my cell phone number, I can email that over to you as well. But again, just to make sure I'm on the emails because Meredith is not going to respond.
Questions for legal? Hearing none? All right, great job. District manager, I don't have much. You have your Q1 website audit review to state that you're in ADA compliance with your website on tab 13. And we've already discussed the, the potential enhancements at the front guard gates. Any questions for me? Right, sure, none. Direct your attention to tab 14 for your consideration of the meeting minutes on April 3rd. Legal did have some revisions.
The only major revision that I have is starting at line 287. That order of business occurred during the March meeting. It was the vendor amenity usage public hearing. So we'll just need that correction. So any motion to approve would be a motion to approve as amended.
Okay.
It's substantial.
To approve as amended.
I'll
The
second.
minutes.
Second from Supervisor Winker,
April.
all in favor?
Yes, actually, you can get this in which one, sorry, can you repeat?
It starts at line 287.
Page 37 or like?
No,
It's,
It's on the.
247. It's 247. It's,
247 or 287?
it says it was held on March 6th.
it's line 287, so it's page 160.
17th order of business.
Yes, there's, there we go.
I'm almost getting there.
165 is the page number in the agenda packet.
17.
That was allowing the amenity staff to, use the amenities and bring up to maximum of 4 people.
It was just the month before, so we'll remove that and then we should be good?
Yeah.
Okay. That was the only mess up. Okay, let's keep it moving. Wow, look at that. Moving on to tab 16, your operation and maintenance expenditures. I'll turn it over to the board for review of October's through February 2026. If you recall, we had a couple of tabled sessions. That's why you're seeing so many months of expenditures. But if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. If not, be looking for a motion to ratify your maintenance expenditures from October to February 2026 when ready.
Motion to approve resolution 2026-10 as presented.
Yes. Yeah, operation maintenance expenditures. tab 16.
Something about our resolution.
Oh, what did you say, Ron?
I'm on the wrong tab.
We're on tab 16.
60.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm.
We're on the O&M expenditures.
It's tab 15, right? I can't see that
Yeah,
far.
it's tab 15.
Tab 15, sorry, guys. Tab 15.
Oh, $317,000.
So that's per month, right? So scroll down, you'll see that 316 might be October.
Okay, that's all of the, okay.
Yeah, October, then you got November, December,
Oh, okay.
In March.
and then March. I guess we did February last week, in March 2026.
Their returns are expensive.
We keep them busy.
Yeah.
You can keep us really busy.
How Yellowstone has negatively outpaced $16,000. We have to pay somebody to teach the class.
It says that we do 325 points and 195 points.
There's a possibility that we've done some events.
Yeah, we're only on December now, but they've offered that.
That's June of 2025. It was 3 months to pay that. Okay, I'll make a motion to approve.
Seconded from Supervisor Hyam. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. All right.
Should have said.
So, tabs, let me make sure I'm in the right tab here.
Because they're probably, no, because it's from last year.
It is tab 16? All right, we're good. So tab 16, you have your ratification items, resolution 2026-10.
Motion to approve 2026-10 as presented.
All right,
Second that.
and seconded from Supervisor Hyam. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Bear with me. Making great time here. All right. So item B on the business items, the review of investments. So Supervisor Nealon and I have been working on this, but we will need to table for next month's meeting because we need to do some extra research on our end for limitations and such. All right. Table. We've already done precision, yeah. So we will move forward from that, taking us to resolution 2026-14. You want me to review the numbers first, or you want to?
Go through the numbers, because for if we go up, our solution's gonna change.
Okay. All right, I got us for 30 minutes here, so let's see where we're at. This is really the last big item that we're gonna be discussing. All right, so for starters, I have our public hearing scheduled for August 7th. It'd be our August meeting. Does everybody want to make sure that you're gonna be in town in August? Okay, because that's kind of the last time that we could meet. Well, August, once you get into September, it starts getting a little sticky with dates. So if everybody wants to check their availability, I will continue on. So, again, to recall, the proposed budget has not changed since our town hall. So if you recall our workshop, we basically, so you'll see here, you have a increase of $149,711 to your, general fund. So that means by adjusting all your contracted amounts, accounting for your increases that we reviewed in each category, and just basically making sure that your budget is as current as possible. That 140 and some change dollar amount will be reflective that you will be collecting a negative $149,706 in your reserve. So if you recall, your reserve study called for 308, bless you, called for 318,000 that you needed to reserve annually. So you've been reserving a little more, which has helped us in the pool resurface, case in point. However, again, with the objective to keep assessments level in the next year, we have taken that balance that has naturally just increased in your general fund, and subtracting it from your reserves. Please take into consideration that these are proposed, right? A great example is, our legal team does a fantastic job, at staying within the limitations that they can work with, but there is a good chance that you will exceed, your budget there just per trend. Same thing with your district engineer fee. Again, these are proposed, these are forecasted numbers, but in the event that you use all of us to an extra level, there is a cost associated. So I would say that these are target numbers. Just keep that in mind.
And just, we work at the discretion of the board for the past, let's call it 4 to 5 years. Your average annual bill has been closer to the $80-ish thousand range. I pulled your fiscal year bills thus far this year. You're averaging between 7,000 and 8,000. You've got a couple outliers when we've been doing big projects such as the RFPs, et cetera. So just keep in mind, like Brian said, we work at the discretion of the board. We come to your meetings, we prepare for your meetings, we track all your agreements. We will do our best to stay within whatever budget you set for us. However, the bar does require us to respond and represent our clients to the best of our ability. So if we do go over that number, such as this year, we have already exceeded the budget that was set for us. You just have to kind of reallocate within the budget.
Yeah,
That's correct.
well, we've already fired it. So-
That's it right here. So, I mean, ideally, unless the board wants to direct your attention to a specific line, Supervisor Nealon and I did a full scrub of all of your contracts. So this budget includes all of your contracted amounts as well as, potentially any, new projects coming out. So, and please take into consideration the earlier conversation that we had today, those dollar amounts, as it proposes to this budget.
To change the security line item. So now keep in mind, today, you're setting your high water. You cannot go above this number. You can come down, you cannot go up. So if you are not sure what you're going to do, if you're going to go to the cross saving hybrid model for security, we should incorporate, in my opinion, maybe a higher number. So we go ahead and set that high water mark so we don't run into an issue. We can always bring it down.
But you can't go up, and if you do reflect an increase, then you will have to send out a mailed notice reflecting that proposed increase.
If we haven't changed our security model at this point, I wouldn't change what we're budgeting for at this time. right?
I'm not your financial advisor, but
I wouldn't change
I
it,
mean-
until we decide, if the numbers go down,
Because that might,
stop at that number, I would keep at the 500 grand.
The only thing that you're gonna do is you are gonna have to send a mailed notice, so the residents will receive a letter in the mail that says, hey, you are potentially increasing $219 per house.
which is similar to what we did last year and
I mean, I would leave the security budget where it is right now, and then if we do make a change that reflects in less money spent, then we can adjust for it in the following year. I would rather adjust the reserve budget because this pool resurfacing is probably our biggest, res- cost associated with our reserves that we have, right?
Well, you also have a surplus that you're carrying over. year
Yeah.
to year.
It's not if the county is turning out funding, like.
You also have that,
All set.
Yeah, so I would recommend reducing what we put into reserves to offset that $149,000 to make sure that the,
like you wanna collect an additional one?
now in the reserves.
Cause right,
We have shortage, right? Or we have no bridge.
so your
Did I read that wrong?
two funds, so your general fund,
Now go back up to where we have $149,000.
You
Is
can.
that an overage?
this is an increase
That's an increase.
in your general fund. Then you have your reserve. So to offset a total increase, your general fund went up, your
So we have
reserve
to
went
do
down.
something. Oh, yeah,
Your
that's what I was,
reserve went down.
that's what I was trying to say.
You wanna bring it level?
No,
Okay,
no, that went up, so the reserve is going down.
that's right,
That's what I was trying to say.
that's right.
Okay,
I think what they're saying is to leave security at what it is this year until they make a decision on what they do.
Mhm.
yes,
No, I'm fine with that.
yes,
Yeah,
okay.
anything else?
So I have a question, not
Yes.
completely related to the budget, but as a follow-up to last month, where didn't we, approve to set up that account that Sam had
Yeah, that's
identified?
what we.
Yes,
Okay.
we're going through that process. We have begun that process, but we need to do some extra vetting because there's some requirements.
There were
Okay.
requirements on the bond refunding from 2023 about where money is held, and I'm just confirming that we're okay.
Okay, so we're still working on that, okay,
And
because that's
can we,
actually, the money for next year,
We don't lot.
but
for the sake of the public record, because not everybody knows this, not everybody is for this. Of course, everybody sees Bobby at the front gate. Everybody knows me and my big mouth about the landscaping. Everybody comes to the clubhouse and sees what Debbie is doing. And of course, we have our wonderful Brian here, who is a great communicator. And leading the way for us all, but not everybody is really aware, I think, of what Sam has brought to the table. So for the sake of the public record, can we actually tell everybody what he's doing or what he's done, what he brought to the table for us?
Yeah, I mean Supervisor Nealon has condensed your entire budget, brought it up to date. We fixed several, contracts that have been out of compliance for several years. We are being conscientious in terms of, future potential enhancement projects while managing what we're currently spending for the year, which, goes into, the consideration of starting to take pauses in between some of these major projects. And our ultimate goal has been to keep assessments flat for this year, which Supervisor Ingham's goal is to one day hopefully even bring it down. So, we're working towards that. But our first year together, we don't even have a year under our belt, so I think we've accomplished a lot. Anything to add?
No, that's, thank you, thank you.
thank you.
Okay, so any other questions on anything else on the budget?
Before we approve it, I will have to read into the record a separate resolution that's not on your packet because we would be contemplating an increase. So whenever you're done with the budget, just let me know so I can read my 3 pages.
And to close on the budget, because you're going to be doing a mailed notice, just know that there's usually a cost incurred. I estimated between $1,500 to $3,000. Just keep that in mind. If we're gonna be raising this line back to its budget, right, just for clarification, so, this is gonna go to 530,000 instead of 300.
That's where your cut was.
That's what our current budget is, yeah. So the board wants to keep it at 530, yes.
because this will set your high water mark, and so over the
So
next,
then we will have an increase then.
we,
Well,
we,
you're gonna reflect.
we will give people notice that there may be an increase, and then
Okay.
in August, if you don't wanna increase that much.
So if
if
we
we-
make a decision
Yes,
about what we're gonna do prior to that, then we can bring it back.
yes,
You can break it down.
bring it back.
Back. Are you good with that, Bobby?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a safer way to come.
And also like, I really request Bob to work with the hybrid model and build an statement.
Yeah, definitely. Whatever, well, I mean.
Yeah, that's gonna bring in like, 142 out of 149. That's the, that levels of.
Right.
Do
Okay.
you want to move forward with? Actually, are we going with shade again?
There's shade in the back end. We have a hard cutoff here too, but, we do have time. If there are no further questions to the budget,
Okay.
I will make those adjustments. So you would be approving the proposed budget in substantial form as discussed, right? So I'll take that line item from 300 to 530. That's gonna reflect roughly a $219 increase year over year that you'll be noticing the residents.
Brand new process.
What was it?
Brand new.
Oh, Brian Mert, do you have something to add?
Yeah, real quick, we've been saying we didn't want to increase things for, last year we had this conversation where we're like, oh, we'll do it because of the cafe. So I guess I'm just, where is this big increase coming from? And I don't have the document in front of me. I'm sorry, but how are we with revenue coming in that we now can't touch? It's in a separate account that we can't get to. I'm failing to see. I think the homeowners do not want the assessments to increase. They've been clear about that, crystal clear, and have said we'd prefer not to have this happen.
Your main driver, Brian, is your landscaping contract previously was just below the threshold of $195,000. When we redid it, it is now over, I think it's 267.
267.
Well, 70.
It's almost $270,000, so you had a pretty big increase there. Again, this isn't saying that we will definitely increase assessments. It's just if we don't know what we're going to do on the security side of things, transitioning that system, I would hate to get in a situation where we've not budgeted for it and then we have a bigger problem.
So the total amount of the increase is 200 per person? Is that what you're saying? The assessment is
So
$200 per homeowner?
if I add 230 back into the budget, it's gonna take your assessments roughly $219 per lot.
For you.
Yeah, per unit.
Got it. And you're saying we're pulling in $40,000 of revenue from the cafe? Like, is that included in here?
So I'm saying yes. Well, it's included in your potential earnings, but the problem, Brian, is that we don't have enough accurate information on, our program revenue. So every year you've been over budgeting, so you've been collecting less because you're saying, hey, we were gonna make 700,000. I think last year you budgeted 580. You're trending at 444, so you have a variance of negative 136. Now, granted, ambitious to say that we could reach that, but nonetheless, you have to be realistic to where you're at, and we don't have enough data with F&B just yet.
Can I actually, Brian? Brian? Hey, buddy,
I hear you.
listen, I think hopefully let's cross our fingers, we don't need to increase the penny. There are 3 avenues that I can see. We can, kind of do some little patchwork. One, if Bobby can able to work with Joe and, or Brian, to get that, work with the hybrid model. Hopefully we'll bring in $140,000 from that, and then, if we can work on that, whatever the account that we are trying to do, the savings account, that can bring in, let us say another $40,000 to $53,000. So we can basically cover this $136,000 deficit easily. $136,000 or $149,000. So my hope is that we strongly no need to increase, but we're only voting today for a proposed budget, but I'll make sure I work with every party to make sure that we don't need to increase a penny. on our homeowners.
No, I like
So I
that.
guess
So Sam, Sam, do you approve of the high vote of the $200 additional assessment, knowing that it gives us wiggle room again for a
Yes.
second year?
That's what the next one. Yeah,
You do,
exactly.
okay.
Really,
Okay.
right? Slowly for the
No,
legal
it's fine.
room, we will make sure in August month, we have all the numbers, by then we'll have a third quarter. Cafe numbers as well,
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
let's cross out things that we will cover the deficit of $149,000. And I think we can easily reach there, we don't need to increase the spending.
Yeah, we have 3 months to solidify that.
Yeah.
That's
It
great.
just gives you,
Perfect. That was
it
my
gives
only
you the
question.
room to be able to adjust it, going forward. You know, worst case scenario, you do have to increase, you hope you don't, but we're just trying to make sure we're covered, that we don't run into a major issue with a different type of special assessment.
Yeah, to add to that, Brad, I think our CDD manager, Brad, really working hard. And I will make sure that, like, we work with every stakeholder to bring in that $149,000 from somewhere.
So your current, I just updated your current budget, you're currently reflecting 200 and, depending on the lot, 253.84 across the board, so I think there's like this one that has a different, 202, I don't know why. Yeah, 2018, single. But this is what will reflect, in terms of increase, so, board members, if anybody asks, just let them know, hey, this is our not to exceed amount. We are working hard to make sure that there's no increase.
If we can have language in the mail notice that says this increase is due to X, Y, and Z, this is proposed, the board is working to bring it down, we can add a narrative into that
Perfect.
letter.
Yeah, cover letter,
That explains what's going on, so people don't get surprised.
yeah, I could do that. Yeah. Proposed.
That's it. You think she. So, what I've been working on this.
All right, anything else before we turn over just the resolution?
Okay, so this will be, resolution 2026-14. I apologize, I will have to read the entirety of this resolution because it is different than what's in your agenda packet. So this is a resolution of the Board of Supervisors of the Solterra Resort Community Development District approving a proposed budget for fiscal year 2027, declaring special assessments to fund the proposed budget pursuant to chapters 190 and 197 of Florida statutes, setting a public hearing, addressing publication, addressing severability, and providing an effective date. Whereas the district manager has, prior to June 15, 2026, prepared and submitted to the Board of Supervisors of the Solterra Resort Community Development District a proposed budget for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2026 and ending September 30th, 2027. Whereas it is in the best interest of the district to fund the administrative and operations services, together the services set forth in the proposed budget by the levy of a special assessment pursuant to chapters 190 and 197 of the Florida statutes is set forth in the preliminary assessment roll included within the proposed budget. Whereas the district hereby determines that benefits would accrue to the properties within the district as outlined within the proposed budget in an amount equal to or in excess of the assessment, and that such assessments would be fairly and reasonably allocated as set forth in the proposed budget. Whereas the board has considered the proposed budget, including the assessment, and desires to set the required public hearings thereon. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Supervisors of the Solterra Resort Community Development District, Section 1, proposed budget approved. The proposed budget prepared by the district manager for fiscal year 2027, attached here to its Exhibit A, is hereby approved as the basis for conducting a public hearing to adopt said proposed budget. Section 2, declaring assessments. Pursuant to Chapter 190 and 197 of the Florida statutes, the assessment shall defray the cost of services in the total estimated amount set forth in the proposed budget. The nature and plans and specifications for the services to be funded by the assessments and described in the proposed budget, all of which are available on file for public inspection at the district's office of Rosetta and Company Inc., 3434 Colwell Road, Colwell Avenue, Suite 200,
Yeah.
Tampa, Florida 33614. The assessment shall be levied within the district on all benefited lots and lands and shall be apportioned among such lots and lands as all as described in the proposed budget and the preliminary assessment roll included therein. The preliminary assessment roll is also on file and available for public inspection at the district's office. The assessment shall be paid in one or more installments pursuant to the bill issued by the district or pursuant to the uniform method as set forth in chapter 197 Florida statutes, which is what we do here. Section 3, setting public hearings pursuant to chapters 190 and 197. Public hearings on the proposed budget and the assessments are hereby declared for the following date, hour, and location, which will be, can you read out the date and time for the proposed public?
August 7th, located at 5200 Solterra Boulevard, Davenport, Florida, zip code.
333
There it is.
at 10 a.m. Section 4, transmittal of the proposed budget to local general purpose governments. The district manager is hereby directed to submit a copy of the proposed budget to Polk County, Florida, at least 60 days prior to the hearing set above. Posting of the proposed budget in accordance with section 189.016 Florida statutes, the district secretary is further directed to post the approved budget on the district's website at least 2 days before the budget hearing as set forth in section 3 and shall remain on the website for at least 45 days. Publication of this notice. Notice that the public hearing shall be published in the manner prescribed by Florida law. What this is the district shall cause this resolution to be published once a week for a period of 2 weeks in a newspaper of general circulation in Polk County. And they will be mailed to homeowners. The invalidity, severability, invalidity, goodness gracious, or an unenforceability of any one or more provisions of this resolution shall not affect the validity or enforceability of the remaining portions of this resolution or any part thereof. Effective date, the resolution shall take effect immediately upon adoption. And I'm done.
Resolution 2026-14 as stated.
Motion to approve resolution 2026-14 as presented.
Second that.
Second from Supervisor Neal. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, resolution 2026-15 is just a administrative correction. Sean Wildermuth is no longer over the position as assistant treasurer, so we are requesting formal acceptance that Susan Garcia will be the new appointed assistant treasurer. Any questions?
Motion to approve is presented.
Resolution 2026-15 from Bobby, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second from Supervisor Heim, all in favor?
All right.
Favor, opposed, all right, bear with me. And then resolution 2026-16.
Supervisors, what I did with this is your amenity policies. I've gone ahead and amended them to include rules for our new turf area that will be installed at some point this summer. We hope, maybe, Joe?
Really
Okay.
soon, actually.
So we will, what this does is it creates new rules for that area. I've included red lines in there. It is very similar to the rules that we have in place for like our tennis courts or our volleyball area. You have to wear shoes while you're on the turf area. If there's a line, you can only play for an hour. Again, you're playing at your own risk. We can modify them to include additional games since now we're gonna have mini golf. I will modify them to include some provisions for that. Yes, ma'am.
When we were talking last month, we kind of touched on the fitness center as it related to amenity rules and that shirts are required. Did we add that?
The fitness center, we have appropriate attire, including sports shirts and closed-toed athletic footwear must be worn at all times.
Okay, so it's already in there. Okay, because there were some people coming in shirtless and,
That is already.
okay, it's already there. All right.
Yes, so basically what the rules do is it applies similar rules we already have in place, no black attire, appropriate attire. You have to wear shoes at all time, whether that's a tennis shoe, flip flop, what have you. Pets, except for service animals, we are not allowing. And then operating hours and whatnot are included. If there's any feedback on these, please let me know. I'll modify them to include the mini golf. I also went through and made a couple revisions. Florida statutes this year has required that all local governments accept all types of electronic payments, ACH, credit cards, etc. We already do that predominantly. We're going through and revising our payment language, just if we ever have to include processing fees. So I've also included an update on that, which you'll see on one of the first pages. I also revised our no weapons language to just be a bit broader, to cover all types of weapons and not just firearms. Insurance has requested that we do this, and so I included that provision as well. If anyone has any questions, I am happy to answer those. Otherwise, we would just be looking for a motion to approve and authorize staff to publish the appropriate notice.
Resolution 2026-16 presented.
I'll second that.
Second from Supervisor Hyam, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Please, good.
Oh, and one quick update on PeakNet. We have asked for them to provide contacts of their last few claimants so that we could speak to them. They've reached out to those claimants because they are technically confidential and asked them if they'd be willing to waive that confidentiality to speak to us. I followed up with their general counsel yesterday. They had not heard back from those claimants yet. So still waiting to hear back from them. We're also happy to just say, forget it, you need to just provide the insurance, instead of doing self-insurance, whatever the board would like us to do.
Can we do that? Can we do that? Can we just ask them, hey, we want the insurance to move
Yeah,
forward?
that is fine. If the board wants us to move it forward and do that, we are more than happy to. They just hadn't gotten a response from any of their claimants yet, so.
Okay, so no, here we go.
All right. What is going on here? 1, 2 minutes. Okay, anything else, board members, before we jump into our shade session? Do we need a shade session? We got about,
I don't think we even have time.
you're good? Nobody needs a shade
Yeah, I
session?
want 5 minutes out there.
Okay. If that's the case, I'd be looking for any supervisor comments at this time. Any additional supervisor comments? Hearing none. Looking for a motion of adjournment when ready.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the May 3rd Solterra Resort CDD meeting.
Second motion.
Second from Supervisor Nealon, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, this meeting is adjourned at 1:49 PM. Thank you, everybody on the call.
So next time, let's do the same thing for every month.
Yes. In terms of,
Not to see that.
yeah,